A huge win for Hillary Clinton in the South Carolina primary. Clinton coasted to victory against Bernie Sanders with 77% of the vote compared to Sanders' 22%. Clinton drew staggering support from the state's black voters, with nearly 9 in 10 casting their ballot in her favor. Analysts had predicted the Democratic frontrunner would carry the Palmetto State, but the turnout was much lower compared to the GOP primary. Clinton now holds wins in South Carolina, Nevada, and Iowa, while Sanders claimed New Hampshire. Now both Sanders and Clinton will focus on Super Tuesday. That includes Texas, who has the most delegates at stake. This is our topic this half hour. We want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page and on Twitter. Be sure to use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in the newsroom is our Roundup panel led by our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, our news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, who's often involved in strategizing for Democratic candidates, and public policy analyst Jackie Bally, who's often involved with the strategy for Republican candidates. So I don't know if anyone predicted this wide of a margin. People were saying, hey, it would be a moral victory for Sanders if he were able to keep it within single digits. But she blew him away.
Well, it was already being predicted at about a 40-point swing. This is a lot bigger than anybody ever expected, and I didn't see this coming. But Bernie Sanders wasn't even going to be there last night when the results came in. That's all you needed to know about what Bernie Sanders thought was going to happen. He wasn't even in the state. But this is a lot bigger than anybody expected. Super Tuesday is going to be about it for Bernie Sanders. He's losing in every state poll that I can find. Bernie Sanders is behind. There's no pathway to victory for Bernie Sanders from this point forward, Jackie.
I think what we've been, why Bernie Sanders even came on our radar is because he's a self-proclaimed socialist, 74 years old, and the fact that he won a couple of states, we were like, really?
Right.
Because we thought that the numbers we saw last night, we thought we would see them at the very beginning. She won with a larger gap than Barack Obama. She had more blacks voting for her last night than Barack Obama did in 2008. Right. And all three of us have been saying that really the African American vote is where she's going to get her large numbers, and they proved that last night. African Americans, we've always said that Bill Clinton was the first black president. They love the Clintons. She might as well be the second. She's not a Bill Clinton, but third, I guess. She's not a Bill Clinton, but clearly she is getting the African American vote. What I find fascinating on the Democratic side is that Hispanics, it's not a monolithic vote with them as much as it would be with the black vote. They look at their candidates more seriously. Not that I'm saying black people don't, but they don't blindly just say, okay, this is who I'm going to vote for. And you've seen in some states where you didn't think Bernie would get some Hispanic votes or get as many as he did that. But last night, African Americans came out for Hillary Clinton, and that's what she was banking on.
Bernie Sanders' base of support is young people because he says things that young people like. I'm going to give you a free education. I'm going to give you free health care. Everything is free. And people that have a calculator and add all that up say that there's just no way to do this, and that's where his base of support ends. And that's the problem for Bernie Sanders, isn't it?
Well, I don't think that people that are voting for Bernie Sanders are looking for free stuff. They're actually Americans that care about major issues, right? And they're looking for things that matter in their lives. And so tuition has gone up, skyrocketed, and the next generation of Americans feel like that even if they work hard, play by the rules, get a good education, that they can't pay their student debt. And something's wrong with that. And the divide between the rich and the poor has continued to grow, and Bernie Sanders has been talking about that for the last 40 years. I heard his speech last night. That speech sounded exactly the same what he said 40 years ago.
Right. So he has been consistent over his career.
He's been consistent on his message, and he's contributed a great deal to this election cycle because he's brought forward issues that Americans care about. And although I support Hillary Clinton, I think she's going to win in the South and in the Super Tuesday and be the nominee and be the next president of the United States. I think Bernie Sanders has done a service to this country by bringing up issues that people care about.
All right, let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Okay, let's take a look at Twitter and see the tweets that are coming in. Tyree BP says, going forward, black voting in the South Carolina primary is indicative of the black vote in the South. Mr. Patrick Kane says this is how you beat the expectations game. Just blow your opponent out of the water like crazy. And then this person says Clinton has done well in the South Carolina primary. Still, she can't afford to gloat over Bernie Sanders as she'll eventually need his support.
Well, and look, she shouldn't be gloating over South Carolina. Everybody expected this coming in. I mean, this is no big major win because she was already expected to have a huge win. She wanted to finish it off here. She can't gloat about this. I mean, this is, you know, she finished ahead of what she thought she was going to do. She still has to move forward. And she already saw 4 years ago what can happen when you gloat.
I think the only thing stopping her from getting the nomination, and I don't even know if it'll stop her, is an indictment. You know, she's still under federal investigation. So it's an extended investigation. It's now moved on to include her staffers. I think that's really what's hovering around her. Hillary Clinton herself has said that a lot of people are looking at her and saying, am I doing this for the country or am I doing this for me? So I don't think she'll gloat because she is aware that her trustworthiness is at an all-time low. The fact that she has an extended federal indictment hovering over her head, she has not gotten out of that yet. I'm sorry, federal investigation hovering over her head, which could lead to a possible indictment. She's not out of that yet. So there are many things that are affecting Hillary Clinton. I don't think it's time for her to gloat.
So I don't think she's ever going to get indicted, but I do have one issue that I want you to address. We're almost out of time. Is Trey Gowdy's committee has not met in months, and we already know that's a political investigation. They've even said it. You know that's going to come out right before the election. They're going to release a scathing report.
Well, they've been holding out for years to try to release it right before the election, and the first person in history of the United States running for president under an indictment was Rick Perry. So, look, you know,
which was dismissed. Yay, Rick.
Yeah, which was dismissed, and our current sitting, Attorney General is sending an indictment. But look, that's not the issue. The issue at hand, this is a very important presidential election. People should be paying attention to what's being said on both sides of the aisle. And we're going into Super Tuesday where Texas is going to be voting. And we continue to hear that the voter turnout is out, but if you look at it, it's twice the size of what it was in 2012.